Y'all, I have an amazing announcement. Look who's first. Dude, you were the first one here. And look at you. You're horizontal.
Well, you're great. By the way, what's happening?
The face?
Yeah, the face.
Oh yeah, no, I hadn't seen my face in a long time. Honestly,
well, handsome regardless.
That's
handsome.
Very kind. That's very kind. But what it was, I was trying to trim everything down, and I made an errant conquistador move, and it just chopped the shit out of like this.
By the way, the truth that's coming out of you right now,
it was bad, and it's rare that happens to me. But look at him. Look at what? I just want to say this before anything else happens. Just moving the plant slowly. Aloha. It's just very. What I'd like to say to anybody watching is how perfectly us each one of us is tonight. Like, man, Brandon, not only do you have the cowboy hat and the work shirt, but you specifically have like the magic of the movies behind you. It's a very specific thing. John rolls in here in a fucking aloha hat and cabana look, like a whole vibe with his actual plant that he's just slowly moving, and I'm just here in the darkest, just like mood lighting. There's a tequila bottle that's lit up, like it's just I'm very happy that we're all here to talk about specifically what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
And that we came in this way. So to that, cheers.
Wait. I ain't get my 40 yet. Okay, sorry.
Should have known. The guy who asked for it to be earlier.
One a day, my bad.
Cheers. Boom.
All right, what's everybody drinking? What do we got on tap?
Casamigos Blanco.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the reposado right there. So
I'm
tequila right now. Huh?
I'm on the Bozal again, the mezcal.
Yeah.
It worked well last time.
Good one.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep riding it.
He's gonna have a good show. Everybody, get ready. Shit's about to go fucking off.
On fire.
Yeah.
So we literally can't start the top of this show and ignore the elephant, the giraffe, the rhinoceros, the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the room, which is, dude, you were on This Is Us.
Oh yeah, I was like, it's not that big a deal. I accidentally trimmed too close to the goatee, dude. Damn, you fucking making a big deal out of it. I do look like a different human being, and it is very strange to see my face and be like, whose face is this? Yeah, I fucking got to be on This Is Us. How crazy is that?
It's amazing, man. Like everyone we know is I've sent it to 16 people, my mom included, as like this proud auntie moment of like, look at my baby, look at Colt. He is on This Is Us. He is out here he is on real TV. Y'all. This is real TV. Yeah. I love this show. He is looking handsome. And Mandy Boy, said she want to see him naked. I said, this is it. This is it.
She was killing me. She improv that line. That wasn't in the script.
You're kidding me.
No, because when we did the first take, Chrissy turned to her and just went, Mom. And she just every time from there just ran with something. It was great. Yeah. Same thing with Beth. The when we're outside and she says, "Would you just give me a turn, Joe? Give me a turn." Like that. And she said some other things too, and they were all hilarious. If you look at the clip, Chrissy loses it behind her because I think it was just Susan Kalecki and Milo had just had like a little moment quietly and been like, "Hey, try this." It was good. I'm glad y'all liked it. It was cool.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it was honestly, it was nice not to immediately segue because it's not a full segue, but I had a whole bunch of texts and I didn't want to look at my phone. I was like, I don't want to respond. Like, I just need to take this in for a second. My mom was like, why don't you come here and watch it? I was like, because I'm not fun to be around when I watch stuff. Like, I'm useless. Ange has learned to deal with me, but I'm just rude to myself. But luckily there was something weird that happened where I wasn't really watching it because I was filming it for Ange and I was watching her reaction. And then she was like, "Did you see it?" And I was like, "No." And I woke up and I took a look at it and I was like, "That's cool. Like, that's such a neat thing." And in my heart, the reason I'm bringing this up is that it was this moment where I think, Brandon, I think we talked about this, and I talked to Marcus about it today. I said, I'm really thankful that I'm not going into this like, well, it was already a small part and they cut a scene, and like not going down that road. I was like, you got to be even a small part of one of the most beautiful stories that's helping so many people understand perspective and love and family and relationships. And I was like, you know what? I would have paid to be able to do that. And the fact that they then paid me to go do that, come on. So it was very cool. And thank you guys so much for the love from it. It was a nice thing.
Yeah.
It was really nice. So
living the dream, dude. Living the dream.
It's a good life. I certainly can't complain.
I think what was real interesting for me, man, is part of the show, right? It's like part of the show is that people get to hear our perspectives on and takes on different things in life, different circumstances, different things going on in the world. But they also get to come along the ride of our personal lives and things that we're actually going through and things we're feeling out. And that I'm actually having a massive deja vu right now. But what really speaks to me is like we get to celebrate our wins here in front of everyone. Like I'm genuinely, because we talk in the text, right? We talk in the chat, but to actually be able to express that sense of like, I'm so happy for you. We don't get to do that until we're on the call.
Yeah.
So it makes the calls that much more special for me because I get to now look at Jon and talk to him about the gig he's doing right now and catch up on everything that's going on with him and see his face as he's talking about, well, yeah, this happened. And then we had too many guests, and then the parfait didn't work out that great. The shrimp was too cold. And then I was just like,
This is why you never do shrimp parfaits. This is what I've said, Jon. Stop
exactly.
parfaits.
You gotta
do a chicken liver.
Parfaits. Everybody likes parfaits. Everybody. So yeah, man. So to be able to celebrate Colt Prattes in this moment of This Is Us, one of the most iconic television shows that's going to go down in the history of television and storytelling easily. You are a part of it, not a large, not a small, not a tiny. You are a part of that because you put yourself in space to say, I am open to rejection. I am open to your no. I am open to you saying that I don't fit what you're looking for. I'm open to the possibility of putting in 10-hour days, 3 days a week. My wife isn't going to see me also that I can learn these lines, do this callback, and potentially book this job. I am willing to put myself out there like that. And God and the universe met you in that moment and said, no, you are the right person for this. You are the right person to fly out to Los Angeles and go shoot that show, and then get to hang out with these men that you love so much and get to have an epic night and fly home. And now we're celebrating like that is such a massive thing that I think a lot of people in life never ever have the courage to do, which is to say, I'm going to really put myself out there with the possibility that this may not go in a way that favors me. And you did that, man. You did that. So this is bravo. Cheers to you. More to come. You're still in the arena. I'm fighting with you every step of the way, putting in that work, getting dirty, getting grimy, because that's why we do what we love to do. You know, same thing, Jon, for you. Party planning is never going to be easy. You're always going to be working because you strive for greatness. You strive for more. You strive to be like, okay, I've excelled so much at this that I don't have to physically be at a party, but I'm going to go to Diddy's house in about 2 hours, see how that party's going, leave, fly to France, do that, hop in an Aston Martin, drive to Italy for a hot second, and then come back home because I've got this wedding to do in about 2 months. Like, that still takes work. Mm-hmm. So here, cheers to the work.
Cheers to the work.
Cheers to the work.
Shit, just getting that sentence out, that took work. Just hearing like his potential process. I was like, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how's it going? Come on, Jon.
Well, good, real good. It's interesting because it's like I'm finding my intention earlier in the week was I need to figure out my flow. I was talking to a friend, and where I was just like, he was asking me the same thing. He's like, "How's it been going?" I'm like, "It's going great. I just don't have my flow yet." And so it's like moments of almost overwhelmed just because it's so many pieces. But it was cool because we did a manager meeting yesterday, and they go through each division of the company, and then when they came to event, it was just like I gave like a slew of things we're doing right now and ideas that we're working, contacts I have. And then by the end of the call, they're like, okay, so events basically ran this phone call, like you're bringing in the money. And honestly, it's just some of the ideas. Got a big fashion client in, potentially a big wedding in Aspen, and just a couple other projects that I can't just say yet, but just the idea that they're almost in fruition. The company has like never even thought about some of these ideas. Like we have, I think I mentioned in the past, we have like 300 picnic baskets sitting in a storage unit. And I think I found a way to, I haven't mentioned anything.
No.
So he has during quarantine, he started the Picnic Society, which was for people who obviously want to go out and hang out with in the parks and stuff like that. You'd come to the restaurant and he'd sell a picnic basket full of everything you'd want. But the thing is that he ordered like 300, or the company ordered like 300 of these picnic baskets in April of last year. They were coming from China and they got stuck in customs, so we didn't get it till January of this year. So he basically missed quarantine. We missed the pop-up that finished in December, and now we have all these picnic baskets. And so they were like, we don't know what to do with these. And so I walked by a storage unit a couple weeks ago, and I saw them. I'm like, what's this for? And they're like, oh, it's from Picnic Society. I'm like, what's Picnic Society? And they're just like, oh, he had a picnic like kind of pop-up that he was doing. And I'm like, what are they going to do with it now? And they're like, oh, events is going to take over it. And I'm like, I'm events. What do you what do you mean I'm taking over?
I love the way you said I'm events.
I'm events.
Your ownership is the shit.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because at first I was like, I don't what am I supposed to do with all these picnic baskets? But then I played around with the idea and connected through a friend. I have a phone call next week, but hopefully my goal is to hit up Cinespot and some of these outdoor movie theaters and then literally just become a vendor for picnic baskets and bring a whole picnics like division to the company. I already got our chef pushed out a whole menu. I have a client on Sunday who's picking up like 3 different versions, and I like because of her, we now have our whole menu ready to go. So it's like all these little projects now become whole ventures. And I'm like, great, here's a whole division. Let's hire 2 people. Let's have them run it. Let's go focus over here. So it's exciting. Yeah. And every day I go in there, they're right now all prepping for this TV show for next week. And it's like 8 cooks and chefs just nonstop pumping out food. And they just come in the office and they're try this, try this, try this. And I'm like, yes, this is why I love being in food and beverage. Just try this, try this.
That's the sneaky thing about being on set. That's set life. Ange fucking all she ever does. She's like, so what kind of cakes did they have? Because she was on the first 2 seasons of the 2 seasons of Smash, and she was like her favorite thing in the world was crafty. Because we'd get up 4 a.m. I have to drive her out to fucking Long Island City or wherever it was, and she'd be like, "It's fine. They have cake. I'm gonna go to Crafty. It's fine. They got really good cakes." And that was like her whole thing. I was like, do you care that you're on a TV show? She was like, I just want the cakes.
This is so every
fucking time. So when she'd visit me on Dirty, she would always be like, so where is Crafty? I love you. No, you're going to do great. Where's Crafty? They have good cakes. What are you talking about?
I hope I end up with a wife who's the same way, who gets that excited about food. She's like, listen, where's the food? Let's get straight to the important
part. Put it out in the universe, man. Put it out in the universe.
He just did, by the way. Any single women who are watching and are like, they want the Gorski, he's already told you, like, you gotta be down to eat. You gotta eat the food. You gotta try the fancy. See, you got the shrimp parfaits.
The shrimp parfait makes a full circle.
Okay.
Also, you've got to really you want a girl who can eat, but she's also, if she's watched any of the episodes, got to know that most of the food is going to be tacos. So
okay. Right.
That's part of the bargain.
I realize it's funny because like we've talked about it before, knowing what you do in don't want. And like for a while, I'm like, no, I could be open dating someone who may not eat the same way. But I remember one time a friend tried to hook me up with a girl who was vegan and didn't really eat sugar, anything with sugar. And I went on like one day, and the 12 or 15 minutes it took to order our food because of how many questions and how she had to modify like every aspect. I'm like, that's unfortunately not gonna work.
It's not for me.
Yeah,
massive turn off. Massive turn off.
Yeah,
but it's a massive turn on for some dude who's vegan, who's like not popping with sugar. But if that's your jam, like, no. If Ange would have been like,
wouldn't be jam.
So yeah, wouldn't eat jam. Huge problem. No, I mean I think I put it in our love story. One of our first, it was we weren't dating yet. She was still dating somebody else. We went out with the whole cast, went down to this place called St. Jerome's down the East Village. It's like there's not even a sign or a door. You just, if you know the wall to bang on, you bang on it. If somebody opens it, cool. They would project like 70s porn on the walls. It was crazy. PBR and a shot of Jack was like $3. It was awesome. It's a great place. But we went with the cast one night, with some of the cast, and by 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, everybody's kind of like, and we're just hanging out just because we're like, we will wait until you all leave. And then they did. And it wasn't like so we could sneak around. It was just because we were like, no, we just want to be together and we don't want to have to pretend for you guys. We went to a diner and she sat down hammered drunk, just hammered drunk. And she opens to me. She goes, okay, so obviously we want mozzarella sticks. We should get some poutine and shakes. We gotta get shakes. Disco fries. I said, we just got poutine. Disco fries. Pancakes? You like pancakes? I swear to God, she ordered she essentially handed him a menu and went, just this and extra fries. And we sat there for hours and just ate it all. And I was like, I'm in love. Maybe it wasn't love at first sight, but it is love at first meal.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. Hey, that's the recipe. No pun intended. Actually, you know what? Okay, pun intended.
Pun intended.
That's the recipe.
Intend that pun.
Intend that pun. It's in there.
All right, Brandon, you before we jump in here, you had a great day of writing.
A fantastic day of writing. So I've met someone who's a photographer on social media, and I just been following her work for a while. And she's like, I'm gonna be in LA, we should get up. And I was like, bet, let's go horseback riding. She happens to be from Texas, and it's amazing what happens when you can cultivate a safe space with a stranger. It's amazing. It's been something that I am so intentional about. When I meet someone and you can feel that initial energy of like, what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? And not saying everyone needs that kind of like luring into, but I want to let people know off top, you don't have to worry about the awkward questions. How's your day? What are you doing? Da, 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 da. And it's like, you're feeling out the energy. It's like, you can hit the ground running by someone just being, because I believe that I'm empathic, sensing the nervousness and getting ahead of the nervousness and saying, it's a safe space for you, just so you know it's safe. And what's been interesting is getting the feedback of someone saying it without me ever telling them I'm trying to make you feel safe. They'll just say, I feel safe with you and I don't know why, right? And that's been a really rewarding thing for my character, because I don't know why, but I've been in I'm really keen on being like someone who takes care of people, like, and not like it could be a money way, but more in an emotional, like energy space kind of thing. Like, I want to take care of you. Like, I want you to know, like, you can kick back, you can fall asleep, you can be quirky, you can be corny, you can be sassy, you can be bitchy, you can be grumpy. Like, you can be whatever you need to be in that moment and not feel like you have to mold or be something just because the moment's calling for it. A lot of people get around me in the horses and they think, now I got to talk with a draw. I got to talk like this. I got to do this. I'm like, if you don't typically have an accent, I don't need you to all of a sudden have an accent. If you don't typically know shit about horses, don't start to be like, oh yeah, and then and then yep, right.
They got the haunches.
Yeah.
Look at those haunches.
Those haunches. Yeah, right. Hey, it's right. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I can see it and you can see it. I don't know is probably the most beautiful thing someone can say. Like, I don't know.
Honesty.
I don't know. It's been a long time. Like,
it almost seems like you really like it when people are authentic.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's such a cool thing. You're fostering a space for someone to be authentically themselves. And that seems like it's what you're genuinely interested in. I'm so happy to hear that's that feeling. And there's nothing like, we call it, we don't know why it just works, or it's this or it's that. When somebody just goes, no, this is who I am.
Yep.
I'd like you to be who you are. Can you do that? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, yeah. You know what I mean? It changes everything.
1000%. Everything.
I love that. It's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah. So, and that's what's been great about the person I've been dating. And I know, Colt, you've been trying to get me on the phone so we can talk about her. So we can just kind of unpack everything. And I'll say this, man, that has been the biggest turn on for me, is that she is who she is and I am who I am. And she likes Brandon. She likes Brandon. I don't have to be anything. And that's the gift that I think my previous relationship gave me, was like, oh, this is what it feels like when someone can accept you for you. And now that I've met a woman who's off top was just like, oh no, I see you. Like, I see how you are with people. I see your heart. Like, you're just a good man. You're just a solid, like, good man. And I think that's amazing. And to have that, you're just like, oh, I don't have to like show you I'm a good man. I don't have to like do the things that make me a good man. I can just be Brandon and you can see in that the goodness. Fuck me.
Can I ask a question? Can she see your flaws?
I would say she can.
Then
she called me on something the other day. It's pretty interesting. Wait, that smile, that fucking smile,
dude. Anybody can like who you are for the good parts. If they can't see, though, if they can't see who you are, if they can only see the good in you. Right. That's called infatuation. That's bullshit. If they can see you and go, okay. But I think that there's so much else here that the circle is, I dig this, that it tilts in the direction of, I want to keep going with this. How often do we get into situations where we look at someone and we go, oh man, we know that the scale is tipped really far in the direction of abso-fucking-lutely not. Right. I shouldn't be doing this. And we just go, it's fine. It's fine. This is fine.
It's all fine.
But when you see somebody like that can see you and can see through you, the person who doesn't come in and put on a Southern drawl and pretend that they know about horses, because you would see through them. Correct. That's amazing. Yeah. And the first time that she does something that you're like, it's going to feel so cool. I'm so excited. When you can see that and you still go, oh, okay. Let's balance the scales. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Don't lie about it. That's just, you lie about yourself, or you lie about what your instincts tell you, what your gut tells you about somebody.
Right.
Recipe for pain. It's not just disaster. It's long-term pain.
Yeah.
Because then you lose yourself in that same lie. That's the worst part.
We gotta keep this whole God going, if you got this lie, you got them convinced of the lie, then you got to keep this lie up. Or one day, when they find out, they're gonna leave, and you don't want to leave, and then so you got to keep this. It's just like rabbit hole.
Or when it's their lie, it's you're believing their lie. You're lying for them. That's the worst part. For me, it's when you look at somebody and you go, no, you're not that. You're not that. You're not. And somebody says, they're that. And you're like, fuck you. They're not that. And they're like, why are you so defensive? And I will say this one last little bit about this, Brandon. What makes me so happy is that you said my last relationship taught me, like, that's a cool thing. It's cool that you're able to look at that and go, for one, it's amazing that you found more than one person that genuinely saw you and was like, cool. And that just didn't, it was a season, right?
Right. Right.
But how beautiful that you get to just look and go, thank God I had that relationship so I can learn. It makes dating, it makes this whole thing makes the journey. I mean, I swear I'm copyright patent pending on this book title. I'm gonna call it Journey of a Lifetime. Literally, motherfuckers. That's what love is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this has been an amazing segue to today's conversation and topic. Naturally, right? Like naturally it was just like, and we're off. And boom, drop right in. Because the idea of someone said to me today, like, oh, you're dating again. That's amazing. It didn't even compute to me that I was completely closed off to actually dating anyone after her. And I was like, oh shit. That's right. And I for a moment, now that I have the visual, it was like I finally looked down and realized that thing I had a Band-Aid on had healed. And I was like, I can fucking take this Band-Aid off. Holy shit.
So gross. I got a wet Band-Aid on here.
I got a wet Band-Aid on here. I've showered in it. I've sweated in it. I've done everything in it. And I can take this Band-Aid off. And it was like, it's got air to breathe. And I'm just like, man, that's there. Yes, it exists. That is a real thing, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And I'll leave that at that with this, whatever voice is happening right now.
It's a Gorski. You got a Gorski.
It is a Gorski.
Got a nice little Gorski voice going on.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Give me some more.
Thanks,
give me some more
Rode microphones.
Plug. Boop, boop.
Not me.
He has one built to his fucking throat. Gorski has one of those mics. So like
just a fucking modulator. That's why he's always reaching up. He's adjusting. He's like, exactly. Just
always got the collar.
Notice he never wears a shirt without a collar. This motherfucker.
We might have to add in some bleeps. Sorry, people out there. We've dropped more MFers than we've ever had in any other episode.
I feel like
motherfucker is a good word.
I feel like that's the problem. It's just a great word.
It's a great word. And back to refining.
Let's refine.
Let's refine
this conversation. So we left off and put ourselves in quite a pickle now, didn't we? I made a post about this today on the old social media about kind of this general thing that we're talking about, which is, what is the man you want to see in the world? And this is what we were talking about last time. Back to the topic. What is the man you want to see in the world? Where do you come up short? And then also, how do you get yourself out of that? Like, how are you working to better yourself? And today it was interesting. Brandon, as soon as he and I got on here, Gorski, he goes, oh my God, like, what happened to your face? It's like, I got attacked by a series of increasingly larger bears. It was awful. Actually, I was shaving the conquistador and I made like an errant, and I looked at it and I was like, I can't fix this. I tried to fix it. And I was like, now I look like a 90s cartoon character. Like it was like a very Iron Man Robert Downey Jr. It was very angular, and I just couldn't save it, so I had to get rid of the whole thing. But I was looking at myself and I thought, man, I don't remember what I look like. And so it led me down this path of as a weird artist boy staring into the mirror for an exorbitant amount of time and just being like, who are you? Like, why have I not seen you in a minute? What is it about you that bothers me? Or does it? And what, like, and I talk about this a lot. I talk about talking to myself a lot. And it's journaling. It's the precursor to journaling. It allows me to get through a whole bunch of stuff with myself, with the person that I absolutely will not bullshit, because I know that they don't judge me, because they can't. They're exactly as responsible for the same things as I am. And so it's really nice. I get this kind of, do you really mean that? No, you're right. Okay, let's talk about this. Get yourself on fucking task. Like, why are you acting like this? And then actually answering those things. And I had that moment looking in the mirror where I was like, okay, what are you not doing to be that person that you want to be? And I had a genuine talk with myself that I haven't seen in a while. No covering, just naked and afraid. And it was a nice moment to go, okay, this is where you're coming up short right now across life, but literally in this moment, you're doing it even more. So step back, stop looking in the fucking mirror, stop staring at Instagram, stop waiting for something to happen, and go do your fucking job. And it was awesome. Now that seems very ethereal as an answer, but it was nice today to step away from the worry that I constantly have about how I am going to present myself and how I'm going to live my life. And I stepped back and went, why are you living it? Why do you want to do the things you want to do? What's the end goal? And we're having a bit of a family emergency. Angelina had to fly out of town last night. And I realized that was why. And that was the thing that, oddly, after so many talks and podcasts and interviews and the shit that we do, that I didn't quite get. I was doing it for myself, but by putting this life that I want to create for somebody else first, it allowed everything else to flow so much more smoothly, because I will procrastinate and shit all over stuff that I want to do for my life, because I just assume that eventually I'll be able to get to it, but I won't do that when it has to do with somebody else. I won't waste their time. It was a nice day. Yeah. Not like a solid quotable point in there, but you know.
No, there's plenty of quotable points for sure. I definitely, I think so. I don't know. I can't see Gorski right now if he wants to jump in there, but I definitely think you have a lot of points that are reflective of this entire conversation, where the refinery is going, but where we're going as men in our lives. Like, we're all at points in our lives where we have to look in the fucking mirror. We have to. If we don't, it will be a massive disservice to ourselves and the people we love if we do not look in the mirror, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And you took the time today to actually stand there, and thank God you fucking clipped your shit on accident. Like, look, what happened was perfect. What happened if you came out, boom, bop, bop, bam. I'm standing motherfucker, baby. That motherfucker go. All right, we just had a little exercise. My baby gone. I'm going to step out in these streets. Life would have been Gucci King, right? On to the next one. Life said, I need you to pause.
Yeah.
And that pause went from, oh shit, to oh shit, to oh shit, to oh shit. That's amazing, man. And that's the beauty of God our backs. God has our backs in those accidental moments that aren't truly accidental. God has our backs in the moments where we don't plan on running into the stranger. I don't tell this story because I don't like talking about this stuff like publicly. But I was coming off the freeway and I was kind of late from something, but my timing was crazy. I'm coming off the freeway, getting ready to get off my street, Sherman Way. And there's a car on the shoulder and the engine is like, the hood is smoking. And I'm like, does no one else see this? Does no one else see this? I get out, I literally pull my truck in front of their car and I get out. And I'm like, and they don't speak any English. I'm like, do you guys need help? And I push their car from the on-ramp, not the flat street, from the on-ramp to Sherman Way, to where I'm on Sherman Way, pushing their car, sweating. Some guys in the trucks are like, hey, do you need help? They hop out their truck. They help me they literally helped me to the fucking ramp of the shit. And they were like, okay, we have to go. And then left. Then pushed the car the rest of the way to the gas station, right? For these two women. But if I had been 2 minutes earlier, 3 minutes later, I would have never, or if I got off a different exit, I've never even seen these women. And who knows how long they were sitting there for. Because when we got there, we realized her hood latch was broken too. So she couldn't do anything about it. And it's in those moments where if you're not aware to be like, okay, I could look at this for what it is, I'm late and that's it. But it's like, no, every single moment, every single second, every single minute, something's happening in your life. God is orchestrating and moving and doing something for you to understand and to see and to be. So fast forward to, and I'll tell this story real fast. This second part. I like my credit, my card had got compromised, and I had no cash on me. And I was like, fuck, I gotta have something. I was gonna help a friend move my truck. And this is like 2 weeks later. I go to a gas station and I'm like, fuck, I don't have anything on me to pay for gas right now. I've got like a couple dollars or whatever the case may be. So I go to the guy, I'm like, hey, this woman behind me says, don't worry about it. Just put this on number 5. You know, I looked back and I was like, are you serious right now? And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Wow. And I was like, but that's it. I don't know if that was God's way of karma and paying back and saying, hey, you looked out for someone, I'm gonna look out for you, you know? But the timing of everything was crazy.
I want to throw in one, awesome that you did that, and it just shows your character. And it's kind of the one saying that came into how you do anything is how you do everything. And that speaks for who you are. Like, you are the person, when you see someone broken down on the side of the road, that you're going to check in and see if you can help them. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something you do. And so, like, kudos to you for still being that person and still showing up with that. And the universe rewards people for that. And you just saw it with the way that person helped with the gas. And I think going to also what Colt was talking about, like looking in the mirror, like I love that you had a moment to do that. And I actually do that with a lot of friends, especially when I hear them tell me they're going through a hard time or they don't believe in themselves or they're just struggling with confidence or anything like that. I will literally bring them in front of a mirror and I will tell them, tell yourself 3 things that you love about yourself. And it's I've seen some friends struggle. Like, I'll stand with them in front 10 minutes and they're like, there's nothing's coming. Three, 4 years ago, knowing, but he got up in the morning, he walked up and he hit his door in the bedroom. He had a big mirror, and he walked up and he looked at himself in the mirror, and she's seeing it from the angle. He doesn't see it. He doesn't realize he's being recorded. And he's like, all right, man, you got this. It's another day. You can push through it. And he just gets it. And by the end of it, he's like, come on, man. You know you got this another day. This is going to be your day. Every day is your day. You get short. And like, gets into it. And it was amazing because at the end of the day, he hyped himself up. We all want support from anyone else, but you have to believe in yourself. And you have to be able to have that conversation with yourself and asking the honest questions and also answering them to really ask yourself, what's up? Like, who is this person that I'm looking at? And if you can't look yourself in the mirror, why is that? Like, what are you judging yourself, criticizing yourself, being hard on yourself, that you're having difficulty looking in the mirror? And I was just talking to a friend yesterday, and he was saying, like, dude, I'm just having I'm struggling with everything going on in life. I'm just having a hard time believing myself. I'm like, dude, everyone has this. Everyone struggles at some point or the other. And he's just like, it's just, you still got to face yourself. You still got to ask yourself, like, what is it that you see in you? And I do that every day. Like, I've made it a daily ritual in the mornings, is I look at myself in the mirror and tell myself, like, give myself a pep talk and just see what's coming up. And in days that I wake up and I'm just annoyed or angry, and it's like literally telling myself, I'm like, yo, I'm frustrated that I didn't take care of that last night. I'm frustrated that I said things in this argument I shouldn't have said, whatever it is. But having that honest conversation with yourself, because there's a little bit of compassion you have with yourself when you can see yourself angry in that moment, or disappointed, or sad, or even happy, that you're kind of rooting for that person that you're looking at. And it's being able to, like Brandon, being able to know what you did and look yourself in the mirror. Because like my new thing lately is because of this new project, there's times I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, and I have a mirror in the shower on the door that before I get out of the shower, I literally wipe the condensation off and look at myself in the eyes and I'm like, yo, I'm proud of you. No matter how it is, I am proud of you because you're still showing up every damn day. And then I go on with my day. And it's like that simple action of checking in with yourself and really looking at, because end of the day, it's like we have support, we have people who are there for us, but it's all that can help. But if you can't be there for yourself, none of that's really going to really push you forward.
No, sir.
And so it's amazing. I'm glad, Colt, and like Brandon said, I'm glad that one little cut led for you to have a whole conversation with yourself. I'm like, yo, where have you been? Like, I haven't seen you in a second. I haven't got a chance to really connect with myself in a second. And so it's beautiful that you had that chance. I'm glad to hear that.
This is probably a super interesting segue. Unless someone has a question, I just have to. It came up for me, so I want to ask it. Colt, I can't see Colt, so I don't know if Colt has a question or not, or if he's saying go ahead.
Yeah.
I think the one area that we should be the most vulnerable, right? We probably often have, I'll speak for myself. I had a problem with performance, or performing in a certain way where I felt like I had to be someone, right? We've talked about this on previous episodes, but like, and when it comes to intimacy, like that's something that I'm still working through, which is how do I show up authentically in intimacy? Not with a move, not with a persona, not with something that's a representative, right? Like you're looked at like this handsome man. You have to do X. You have to be X. And I don't know why. I mean, it really just came up for me just now. Like the kind of sex I like and the kind of sex I think someone is going to like are two different things, right? That's the truth of it. It's like, oh, she probably wants like to be choked and have her hair pulled and da 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 da, da and all these different things because that's what a man, like a real alpha man, is supposed to do. And it's like, yeah, but I actually probably like some real like sensual. You know what I'm saying? Like being honest about that. I think that's part of this whole man I want to see in the world is like, how do we have a man in the world? Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because I've talked to two different people recently who've had sexually traumatic experiences based off of what someone thinks, like men thinking they have to be a particular way, and that's been it's created a negative effect on women, right? Because it's become abusive. So how do you guys feel like you peel back the layers and allow yourselves to be free when you're intimate with someone?
Colt, you're mute.
Thank you. I can pretty easily jump on this one, but just because, we have the best sex. It's so much fun. but it's because we're willing to. Have you ever had funny sex?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you get to a place where you're like, no, I just want to like keep hanging out and like laughing and like we're having fun, we're giggling, we're fucking doing all that, but then we're like attracted to each other. So we're like having sex, but we're also making jokes and we're just like chilling.
Why did they make me so happy?
It's fucking hilarious, dude. It's the best. But and it's not something that you can fake. It literally has to be like you're just hanging out, and I don't know how it's only happened like, a couple of handfuls of times where you're just like you're having the best, and it's definitely incredibly sexy, and it definitely moves in and out of waves where it's very, very specifically sexy. But it's just like sometimes somebody knocks something over, or you like the dog comes in, you spill tequila on them, and you're it's fine, don't stop, like we should keep going, this is just, and you're talking and you're just, there is something to that. Now I think that one thing that you really spoke to that is so necessary but also scary is the word that comes to mind, is that if you're doing these men that were trying to be something ended up causing these sexually traumatic experiences. And that is what it is. You're trying to be something, and it leads us back to this authenticity. Yeah. Right? You only have the ability to be the best version of what you see. You don't have the ability to be the best version of everything. Like, I don't know where our egos just go so fucking sideways, and we're like, well, because that's what we're saying. When we say that we can be that perfect man for girls 1 through fucking whoever we meet, we're saying you have no opinion. I am so great that if nothing else, I can pretend to be this. That's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Come off it, dude. I don't know where we get off with that whole thing, but it's so interesting to me. To circle back to what we talked about with the mirror, I wanted to say one thing, Jon, that you touched on. What's funny? The thing that I wrote today was about that person in the mirror is not someone else. It's not something elusive. But the irony is, it is well documented that we will be nicer and more important. Fuck nice. We will be kinder, and we will love better others than we will ourselves. So even that slight separation of a mirror to make that person outside of yourself, to make you outside of yourself, to have a representation that you can look at and go, hey, you're good, man. I fucking love you. Like, I like you. You're cool. You're cool. I dig you. You're doing good shit. You're a good man. You're a good person. You'll say that to a friend far before you sit there and think it about yourself, because we think that we're being egotistical to do that. We think we're self-aggrandizing, but that's not what it is. When you put that person in the mirror, when you throw them into that mirror and you look at that person, you can love them like a friend. That's what's necessary. There's something special to that.
Mm-hmm. I think part of what you're even saying right there, like the reason why so many people have a hard time, they'll compliment and compliment others, for example, over themselves, is simply because they haven't found a place to fall in love with themselves. And it's funny because when I started falling, like truly appreciating who I was, there's one person who comes to mind right now that would always be like, yo, in what you're saying, the egotistical, and be like, yo, you're too much about yourself. You humble yourself a little bit. And it used to have this internal battle. I'm like, okay, what? But I realized, like, this was a while ago, but that person definitely did not love themselves. So watching someone else who loved themselves was difficult. So they needed to bring that down. They didn't like that. And I realized it's like, no, at the end of the day, forget what everyone else thinks. What do you think about yourself? That's all that really matters. And if you don't like yourself, find out why you don't like yourself and then work on that, because all of us have so much value and so much we can bring to the table. And the only way we can really do that is by first seeing it in ourselves. And the whole idea of other people to give us that validation. It's the whole idea of seeking approval and validation from other people. We think, oh, if someone else gives it to me, then I'll appreciate and validate myself. It never works that way, because then we're just continuously chasing that high that someone else gave us. It's not until we can give it to ourselves that we can go. And I actually was just telling this to a friend yesterday. She was saying, she's like, you have so many friends, like you're so connected to so many people. And it's just like, because I know what value I bring. Like I know when I walk into a meeting, or I know when I'm sitting down with someone, like I know what I bring to the table. And so I'm excited about that. But if I sat here and didn't know what I brought to the table, and I judged myself and was hard on myself, why would I go and try to showcase that to people? So I would of course stay hidden. But it's like, once you see the more the value that you bring, the more you're willing to show it and share it with people. And then suddenly people see it, and it just keeps growing and elevating. And it's like, I'm not sitting here hoping that I have hundreds of friends. I just want to be friends with myself. And I realize being friends with myself has allowed me to have so many other wonderful friends who help me see it as well.
I want to hop in here with a real quick.
I'm going to fade out on that, and then I'm going to come back in for this. Go. It was just so good. It was so necessary.
It was so necessary. But here's my curiosity, because I know that I face this for sure. Like I struggle with this, right? Jon, why do you think we put ourselves in situations that don't speak to that value we say we know of ourselves? Like, why do we get into a relationship with someone who does not clearly value us? Or why do we do something that does not, like, we know how much value we bring, but then why do we put ourselves in these situations that's like, why the fuck? You literally will look at yourself halfway through, like, why the fuck am I doing? Why am I even going through this? Why do you think we do that? What do you think that is?
You're secretly trying to prove yourself. If you don't think of yourself as very high, you're going to put yourself in situations for someone to also show you that you're not very high. And so you can then be like, see, I told you, I'm not as good as everyone thinks I am. If you truly believe that you are great and you're deserved, like someone who's going to treat you right, you wouldn't put yourself in that situation. You would be like, oh, I see what's happening here. This person, no, actually, I'm good. I'm going to step away from this. But when we actually put ourselves, and I'm speaking for I've done this myself, where when I was in my low points, where I didn't think much of myself, I put myself in situations for people to reaffirm what I was believing, so that I can sit there and be like, see, I know I wasn't much. I'm shit.
I knew I was a piece of shit.
Sometimes put ourselves in those situations, so we like. It's like that whole idea of I think I brought it before. Socrates, he who says he can, he who says he can are both right. If you believe you can do something, you're gonna put yourself around usually people who believe you can do it. If you don't believe you're going to do something and you can't, or if you're sitting here and like, oh no, I could never do that, you're not going to go around someone who says, oh yeah, you can do it. You definitely do it, because then it compromises what you believe in. And so you put yourself kind of around someone who's going to be like, nah, actually, I think you're right. I don't think you can do that. And it reaffirms. And so I think there's a balancing point. I think the part where you're talking about, that part where you're just like, why the fuck am I in this situation? Like, why am I surrounding myself with these people? That is a transition point when you start appreciating who you are. And you start realizing, I'm surrounding myself with the wrong people, because I'm starting to see the value that I bring to the table, and I'm around people who don't see it and actually trying to go me bring me the different direction. And that's where the change starts happening, because then you start letting go of certain friends that are like, teach your own, I wish you the best, but it's not working for me. I see what I'm bringing to the table, and I see where I want to go.
Right.
It's going. It's going.
But even sitting on these calls with you guys, like every week I look forward to these calls, because these calls have continued to help me become a better man, help me refine who I am. The same way I watch you guys refine who you guys are, talk about what you want. That's the direction I want to see for my life. I'm seeing myself keep going this trajectory of like, we start the calls with, like you were saying, Brandon, it's like celebrating each other.
Yeah.
You started by celebrating Colt. Colt, you did something that's not only just amazing for your career, but something that you truly, it aligns with what you do and you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, and to sit here and be like, let's celebrate for a second, Colt. Like, that's what we're about, and that's why we surround ourselves with that, and that's beautiful. If we sat here and started about like complaining about, okay, tell us what shit went wrong with you in your life today, like we have to keep ourselves in that fucking environment.
Seriously. That fucking talk is so old, dude. I can't stand when I get around a group of guys and that's the shit that they want to talk about. My old lady this, my old lady that. Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
You'll be
The people who look for the wrong in the world find it, and the people who look for the good in the world, they find it.
Yep.
Or he who says he can. That was such a good karate chop.
Oh yeah.
Wait, give me another Gorski. Another Gorski.
I believe you meant to say Socrates.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen.
Jon Gorski. Jon Gorski Whispers ASMR. Check it out.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that was a little tickle for me. Careful now.
I do what I can. Microphones, everybody. It's going in the text.
We're looking for that email. Okay, just send an email.
Matter of time. As soon as John parts us out to whatever network. So there's a couple of things within what we're talking about. There's this thought that's been bouncing around in my head and I haven't shaped it out yet. I should have written it down before this, but how would I have known that this would have come up? I should have just assumed. It's something about when we go to show off, and this has to do with who we believe we are, who we know we are, who we think we are. When you're going into something and you have this intention of showing off, you're bound for failure, right? Because the showing off is asking for someone else's approval of who that is or of what that is. When you want to share it because you dig it that much, because you believe in it that much, that is everything. That is everything from a performance standpoint, just a human standpoint, from a heart, from an emotional, from just wanting to share who you genuinely are versus show it off. If you're showing it off, you don't believe in it and you're waiting for that approval. You say, look at what I can do. And then someone else goes, right? Taking it back.
Yeah.
And then someone goes, oh my God, that's so good. And you go, I matter now. Thank God. Now that's your little battery goes, and then real quickly it starts going, and you're like, I gotta show off for somebody again. You go in there to share, there is no fucking battery.
Let's go. You don't
Let's go. Anything. You're just going, hey, I really dig this. I think you might dig this. If not, okay. And that's something really special. And I think that's the difference between this thing, Brandon, that you asked about knowing who you are. I think, and I know I've thrown that phrase out in this conversation, I'm pretty sure, but I like what Jon said more. It's knowing who you are is hard because it's so steadfast. It sits in this place sometimes, and really what we are is constantly moving and changing and growing. Right? So when we know who we are, we latch onto that, and then anything that comes up against it, we're like, whoa. No. But that doesn't leave any room for growth. But believing the truth of what your fucking soul says, there's something there that I can walk into a room and go, okay, I believe in this. This is what I have faith in. I have faith in myself for this. I have faith in what, for lack of a better term, for what God has put on my heart. Now I say that only in that specific way of phrasing, because I am not religious in the same way, Brandon, that you are, but I think that, and Jon, we've never even talked about this, but it's such a beautiful thing that we talk about the same things because the principles still apply no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? Across religions, without religions, it's about that same thing, that God, that life, that love, that universe, whatever it is, that thing, that story that's etched in your heart. Trust that. When you get a gut instinct, go with it. Trust it, because if you ride with that, you will be led to something so much greater, and it will not be easy just because you believe in it. I don't know where we got that fucking idea. Well, if I just follow my truth, Smooth sailing. No, it's not. It's hard. I am married to a literal angel. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what I did to deserve her love and some of the friends and mentors that I've had in my life. But it has not been fucking easy. That is not part of the bargain. And if it was, it'd be super fucking boring. Be willing to do the tough times. Be willing to work for it. You want it, you're willing to work for it.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you bring it full circle?
I didn't.
From our cheers at the top of the show. What was our cheers at the top of the show? Cheers to the work.
To the work.
Literally the first cheers. How did you do that? No, it's okay.
Tequila, and I really miss my wife.
That should be a t-shirt. What's a good time? Well, good amount of tequila and miss your, like, come on. We're getting a t-shirt made. Yeah. That's it. That's what's happening. Listen, gentlemen, I think Colt Prattes, you have cinched up this episode with that. Truly.
This was a fun one. I really enjoyed this one.
I kind of don't want it to end.
We don't have to. I mean, the episode can end and we don't have to get off the call. She's not here. It's not like a joke. I was up till 4 last night and I got up at 7. Like, when she's not here, I don't sleep. So yeah, I can stop the recording unless somebody has something to say.
John, you got some words?
I just like to end this. As Brandon said, one of the best part, not only do you talk about the work, but at the end of the day, you talk about authenticity. Talk about being really you. And it's not about smooth sailing. I think, and that's only like the one little addendum I would say. Being your true self is not that it's going to be smooth sailing. It's going to be smoother, because when we're not our true self, we're only making it. It's almost like you're fighting the current. You're fighting everything. And so I just want to note, like, I appreciate you touching on that, because that's, I think, the key thing. It's not that life will be easy. Life will be easier if you're truly yourself, because just move forward. Just move and flow.
It's faded out so many times. Thanks for sticking with us, y'all.